Earlier this week, the Pennsylvania House of Representatives passed House Bill 97. The bill, if passed, would change the status of pets in divorce proceedings. Here to explain what the specifics of the bill are and what would change for judges is former District Attorney of Lawrence County, Matt Mangino, our 21 News at 5, criminal defense attorney, legal expert. So, Matt, how are pets classified in divorce proceedings?
Well, right now in Pennsylvania, the divorce code has no provision for pets. So they're treated as the legal term chattel. They're just treated as property, like furniture or a car or a house. So this legislation would sort of raise that bar a little bit for pets. You know, certainly the most significant thing is custody of children, but pets are going to be in a more looked at phase, so to speak, in between children and property.
Okay, so they'll change their classification essentially.
Right.
And what kind of factors would be considered by a judge when it comes to a pet when they are deciding, okay, which member of the case needs to have custody or shared custody?
Well, number one, they're going to look at, was the pet purchased during the marriage, or did the pet belong to somebody before the marriage, or was it, a pet that they had before they were married together? But they're going to look at specific things like you normally would look at with regard to custody of a children. Who takes care of the basic needs, who's taking care of the veterinary care, who socially interacts more often with the pet, who makes sure that the pet has the license and shots and all the other things that are required, and financially, who can take care of the pet. So those are the kind of factors that courts are going to look at when making a decision about who's going to have custody of the pet.
I know a lot of folks watching right now, they're saying, okay, so does this just apply to cats and dogs? Are we talking about other kinds of companions, birds, for example, or reptiles?
Well, I think the generic term is pets in the legislation that's proposed. But again, primarily we're talking about, I would think, cats and dogs. The other thing that the legislation provides is that you can actually have a custody agreement with regard to pets, just like you do with regard to children. So you could agree, when someone's going to be able to visit with the pet, when somebody's going to be able to take the pet for the weekend, all those sorts of things. So it really expands the way pets are looked at under the divorce code in Pennsylvania if this legislation passes.
It's a billion-dollar industry to support a pet, have a pet these days, and a lot of folks, they see this as their family member. When it comes to service animals, those are an investment on top of having the pet. Would that be treated any differently in the court because of the licensing and the training?
Yes, it would be. The service animals would not be included because the service animal would be specific to that owner who uses the service animal for support. So the legislation will not address those types of situations. But we all know how attached we get to our pets, and maybe this is long overdue in terms of at least making it clear how these issues will be resolved in the future.
All right, great to get your insight on this, Matt. Great to have you as always here on 21 News at 5.